Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Radke Show. I am your host, Melissa Radke, and this is my sexy co-host.
Sexy sidekick.
My sexy sidekick, David Radke, in the house. You know what I wish we had was one of those machines that you could press a button and then it would clap for you. Am I boring you?
Sound effects.
Am I boring you? For the love of Pete, put down that water. Yeah, like if I threw something, it would sound like glass breaking. Because if I'm going to introduce my sexy sidekick, somebody should clap for that. And I don't have it in me, David. It is way too early. By the way, I don't know if we have officially made this announcement or not, but I'm just going to say 8 a.m. was hard. 8 a.m. was hard. 9 a.m. was... We're never on here at 9. 9, we were already going with our day. I feel like 8:20, 8:30. I'm telling you, this is a psychological thing. I do not want to be pinned down to a time. I don't. And I know that it is psychological. Sometimes I feel it in my parenting. Sometimes I feel it in my marriage. Sometimes I feel it in this house, in this town, in this state. I don't want anybody to pin me down. I don't want to commit to anything. I mean, which is saying something because I've committed to you for 30 years, been completely faithful for 30 years, loved my children for 17 years, but I don't want to say that I'm committed to it because then I'm really committed to it. I don't want to say I'm committed to the gym, then I have to go. I don't want to say I'm committed to eating healthy, then I got to do it. So just let me do it, but don't make me say it. Why are you sitting there staring at me like that?
I'm just trying to think of any downside to what you're saying. Like if you say, I'm going to go to the gym, which you have, then you go.
Right.
So it's a great thing.
No,
And the same thing with this, if we say 8:30 and we're here at 8:30.
What if we say 8:30 and we get on at 8:22? Are people going to be mad at us? What are they going to do? They can't find us. Okay, we live out in the middle of nowhere. But I'm just saying, I think everybody should clear their schedule for 8:20, 8:30-ish is what I'm going to say to that. Anyway, good morning, everybody. It's a Tuesday morning, and it's once again rainy and soggy and gross outside. And I'm going to tell you what, if you've got any kind of anxiety or depression, don't come in our neighborhood because this weather is not helping either.
It is not.
It is terrible. But how are you doing today? You were a little blue yesterday. You doing any better?
Maybe. I mean, I'm still pretty sad, but
You're eating your feelings big time, man.
I'm doing better.
You wanted Mexican for lunch yesterday, and I'm like, I can't say no to him because he's just eating his feelings. And we do that around here. I don't know if y'all do that. I wish I was the type of person who's like, when I'm sad, I cry, I sleep. When I'm depressed, I sleep. Nope. We eat. That's just what we do.
But actually, I ate a normal meal like I would get. I didn't go overboard.
No, you didn't go overboard.
And I didn't even eat all my dinner last night.
Okay, this is a show for entertainment value. My Lord, this is why you're the sidekick and not the straight hustler, okay? I'm going to tell you that right now. So I go to the gym this morning, and there's a woman in there. She works out with us every day, and she has got a carton of eggs. She brings a carton of eggs with her. And she says, hey, I brought these eggs if anybody wants them. And I said, what? And she goes, these fresh eggs, these farm eggs, I've got these fresh eggs if anybody wants them. So I say, I want them because Rocco will eat you out of house and home with eggs. I want them. And she's like, great, okay. And then she says, they're $5 for the dozen. To which I say, oh, then never mind. Let me ask y'all a question. I meant to ask y'all this. Is that a lot? I don't check the price. I couldn't tell you how much a milk is today. Okay. Is $5 for eggs a lot? Because I was like, nah.
I don't know. I don't think in the grocery store probably, but the man down the street from us that sells yard eggs sells 18
for $4.
Yeah.
18 eggs for $4. Yeah. But then again, he also says he's a distant cousin of ours. He thinks he's in our family. I don't know how that happened. But people are saying on there, my brother sells a dozen for $7. No, not for farm fresh. They're saying no, not for farm fresh. That's not a lot. But I said, no, never mind. I ain't getting that. And she said, what? And everybody in there started giving me grief about it. So I was like, ha, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, y'all. Of course I will. So then my friend Pauline, she says, I would buy them for $5. And I said, no, Pauline. Now at this point, it's just the principle of the thing. I don't want Pauline to have them.
And now she's going, all right, who's me $5.50? Who's give me $5.50? Who's get who me $6?
I said, no, Pauline, I'm going to buy them. I'm going to buy them. And Pauline says, I have $5. I'll give her $5 right now. I said, I'll give you 15 for those eggs. But Pauline said, I'll give you $15.50. I said, seriously, I want the dadgum eggs. And so I whipped out 5 ones because obviously I'd been dancing the night before and had a stack of ones in my purse, and I bought them and they were delicious. I came home this morning and made them for me and David and Rocco. Ribby had already had to leave early for school. So I made these farm fresh eggs and I added a little of that Kerrygold butter to the skillet. And then I just put in some cheese and that's all I did to them. As I was pouring the eggs into the skillet, I noticed that there was a piece of shell in the eggs, and the shell had been in the eggs as I had been fluffing them in the bowl. My question to y'all is this. They were not washed eggs. He put a little note inside. She put a little note that they're not washed eggs so they can sit on your counter for 3 to 4 weeks. And I didn't wash them before I cracked them. I didn't know I was supposed to. So then a little bit of shell got in the eggs. Well, I found it and I pulled it out, but it had already been in there. And now I'm wondering, is anything bad going to happen to us? No. Because you haven't had E. coli from the eggs at Cracker Barrel. I got E. coli once from eating a bad egg at Cracker Barrel. Do I hold it against Cracker Barrel? No.
Were you
love them with all my heart?
Were you diagnosed?
Yes.
Or you just
Dr. Eric True diagnosed me as E. coli. He ran tests. I had E. coli. 100%. And we reasoned it out. We went back and traced it, and it was from an egg that I had eaten at Cracker Barrel. That's all we could figure out.
I would say with farm or yard eggs or whatever, it would be a good idea to wash them before you crack them. Not before, because then you'd have to put them in the refrigerator. Yeah. But so that's a good step to include. But a little piece of a shell, plus the eggs were cooked.
Okay, I know. I just was making sure. I needed to know in case I got the runs today what was going on. And my dad just told me this past weekend that his father, my grandfather, would never eat chicken, not ever, because he said that's a dirty animal. So now I'm freaked out. I'm going to get the E. coli again.
Are you sure that wasn't just him being funny?
No, he would not eat chicken. He was red meat and fish.
I was going to say, then he certainly didn't eat pork.
I think he did eat pork.
He
said chicken is a dirty animal. Anyway, so that was our farm fresh eggs.
I think we all need a little shell in our life, figuratively or literally, because I think it gives our body something to do. It gives us some strength. It builds up immunity. I'm
going to stop you right there. Yeah. My body's got plenty to do. My body is working overtime. Okay.
You know what I'm talking about.
It's physically exhausted from holding this whole crap show up.
No, but you know what I'm talking about. We had friends when the kids were young that their faces had never seen the sun.
What?
Their hands never touched dirt.
What are you talking about?
When we were young married, we lived close to some people, and their kids never went outside, never played in the dirt, never, ooh, don't touch that, don't do that. And they were sick all the time.
David.
We have a
David, I think that they were vampires. I think they were allergic to the sun. They couldn't come out in the sunlight.
We have a friend now that is very, germaphobic and washes his hands 50 times a day.
That's the truth. His hands are as red as a beet.
They're red. And he's sick all the time.
He's had COVID more than anybody I've ever seen in my life. He catches everything.
My whole point is we need some of the good, bad stuff.
Okay. Well, body, get ready, because my poor body is like, enough already.
Crack me something cold and strong.
What in the heck?
Chip of
This
bag.
reminds me of the time that Alan Jackson came out with the song Gone Country. And I made the mistake of asking David. Y'all remember that song? Gone Country. Back to her roots. Gone Country. Look at them boots. And I made the mistake of asking David if on a road trip we could stop and eat at a Shoney's. And he said only a certain type of people eat at Shoney's, which I assume meant senior citizens. I don't know. And then he started singing She's Gone Shoney's. And now whenever we hear the Alan Jackson song, which I have to tell you is not a lot, but when we pass a Shoney's or anything, he sings Gone Shoney's.
Gone Shoney's. Look at her roots. She's gone Shoney's.
Her pancakes give her the scoots. That was your second verse. I knew you wouldn't remember it.
Roots.
Whatever, David.
No, when I was a kid, we would track down Shoney's on vacation. They weren't where we lived, but when we were on vacation, we would track them down because we
Not
liked them.
us. Not us. I'm starting to think I'm starting to think you were raised very all-American and I was raised very
Waffle
not.
House.
Whoa. No, we didn't eat at breakfast places. Ever. We didn't eat at IHOPs. We didn't eat at Cracker Barrels. We didn't eat at Shoney's. We didn't eat at Denny's. I don't remember eating at one of those places my entire childhood ever.
Is there another one called Huddle House?
There's a Huddle House. I didn't eat at it.
You didn't?
No, absolutely not. We would go on vacation, and if you wanted breakfast, you could order room service and get your breakfast. Otherwise, nobody ate breakfast. It was just the three of us. I was an only child up until the time I was like 24. So no, we'll order. If you want room service, we'll order room service. We're going to order one, or we're going to split it three ways. And
See, you stayed at much nicer places than we did because none of the places we stayed at had room service.
I bet your mother would say, I was room service. Okay.
No, our green Coleman chest. Remember those old metal green Coleman chests? Mm-hmm. That was our room service.
Okay. Speaking of our kids and what they eat, last night was Remy and Rocco's tennis tournament. No, tennis banquet. They had a tennis banquet last night. You know, there's one of these end of the year things. You go and they're going to give out awards and say who won region and state, and which goodness knows is never announced at our tennis thing. But anyway, we went and it was time to meet the parents. So Remy started dating this little boy at school, and his parents were going to be there last night, and it was going to be our chance to meet them. And actually, we liked them a lot. Like, they were our kind of people. Like, we would hang with these people. It was really great. But as I'm walking out of the house, my son comes up to me. So Remy and Rocco both play tennis. Rocco comes up to me with a Ziploc baggie. And in the corner of this baggie is some seasoned salt. Okay? Like, you could clip imagine like you would if you were doing like frosting on a cake. You know how they clipped into the baggie and then it was all in one. I said, what is this? He said, that's my seasoned salt. I said, I'm not carrying this like some nut. And he said, I know that they're going to have chicken spaghetti. I heard they were having chicken spaghetti, and I want this seasoned salt on my chicken spaghetti. Y'all, he has found this seasoned salt. So a viewer, a woman that follows me, whom I love dearly, named Elizabeth, sent me 2 bottles of seasoned salt. And I had never seen this brand before. And I couldn't even tell you the brand right now. And one of them is regular seasoned salt, and the other one is the spicy seasoned salt. And he is absolutely gone nuts. He's gone Shoney's over this seasoned salt so much that he wants me to take it to a tennis banquet. Now, y'all, I don't feel like that's a normal thing to do, to take your son's seasoned salt. We get there and they don't have chicken spaghetti after all. They have regular spaghetti with meatballs, which I was thrilled about, and it was very good.
And chicken Alfredo.
And chicken Alfredo, you could choose from that. But he did not use the seasoned salt. So now there's just a baggie of seasoned salt in my purse, which were I to ever be pulled over by a cop and searched is going to be pretty hard to explain. But that is so weird. Is that weird? Do little boys do that?
No, no, I don't think so.
You just think everything Rocco does right now is weird, though. So you're not a fair one to ask.
But I mean, even like, let's say we're watching our carbs, and maybe at home we fix, carb conscious chips, like make the tortillas and cut them up, and so they're better for you. On occasion, we thought, let's take these to the restaurant with us. I can't do that. That's just
David will not do that. He will not do it. David won't take his own packets of Sweet and Low. Like if he knows a particular restaurant doesn't carry Sweet and Low, no, he's not going to pull anything out of his bag unless we're at a movie. And God knows he'll pull whatever candy out of my purse and eat it because he doesn't want to pay those prices. That's the thing. He's prideful and cheap. That's what it is, and y'all need to know. And I'm not telling you anything you don't know.
It sounds like the moral of this story is, I like to pull it out in the dark. I'm just
also
saying,
the moral of the story is,
fat.
God knows I like to be in the dark if you're going to pull it out. Okay. Okay. You know what? You're so weird. All right. Moving on. We went to this tennis banquet and our kids got awards. Now, in fairness, every single kid got some kind of award, but I thought ours were pretty good. Rocco was given the most improved JV boy. And Remy was given number one varsity girl. Remy is the
MVP.
The MVP. She is. It went to the highest ranking varsity boy and highest ranking varsity girl, and she got it. She's their number one varsity tennis player for girls, and I was so proud of her. She's really come on in her game. She really enjoys tennis, and it looks like next year she's not going to play anything but tennis. So I'm kind of happy for her.
And I was really happy for Rocco too. I do wish they would have named it slightly different, because the way it was named, most improved JV boy, he's like, well, it just sounds like I was terrible at the beginning. It was just.
She's correct.
Well, Rocco just started playing like a month before school started, and he ended up the number one boy on JV, and actually got runner-up in district. He had played doubles all season in tournaments, and the coach thought, I want you to try singles for the district tournament. And Rocco just
he really took it by storm, y'all. He really took it by storm.
So he did really well for his first year and being a freshman and everything. So anyway, yeah, they both did good. We were proud of them.
So I want to talk about this for a little bit. I want to talk about kids this morning. Your kids, my kids, all God's kids. Okay. I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. I have always, since I started working on social media in 2016, I have always shared my family with you guys and always been very honest about it. And if we go through a difficult time, I share it. And if we go through highs and lows, I share it, which is why we would share something as asinine as the tennis banquet. I mean, I know that that's not super important, but y'all have been a part of their lives. And so why not share this part as well? But this morning I was looking on my Instagram, and I happened to come across a quote by Jimmy Fallon that he was quoted of saying recently. And he said that his daughters said, but Daddy, we love, love, love Taylor Swift. Why won't you get us Taylor Swift tickets? And he said, and I had to look at them even at their young age and say, because there are some things that we work for, and Dad's not just going to give you that. That is something you're going to have to earn. Now, I tell you that story because, hands in, we've messed up. And we hold each other's hands because we've done it. Not just me, not just him. We've done it. Normally, you would hear this kind of thing from a wealthy family. But we're living proof that sometimes poor people do it too. Okay? But we have not made our kids work. And I don't know what happened. I don't know where that
you need to put a little.
I'm saying
clarification
exactly what I want to say. I'm saying exactly what I feel.
A lot of people, when you hear work, like, well, they're kids. How would they work? So
We haven't made our kids work hard for anything. Our kids do not have a work ethic, period. Remy, luckily for us, is a go-getter. That is different than having a great work ethic. She's a go-getter. She'll hustle if she needs to, but overall, she'd really like to play it pretty cool on the couch. Okay? Rocco is none of the things. Absolutely none of them. And it's really gotten to be where we're a little bit concerned about it. And he's only 15 years old. Is it too late to turn this tide? You say no. I'm asking you guys, is it too late to turn this tide? We told him the other day that we wanted him to get a job this summer. He said, that's absolutely crazy. 15-year-olds don't get jobs. They won't even hire a 15-year-old anywhere. I'd like to know from y'all's perspective, is that even true? Because I think he's a big fat liar. I think he could absolutely get a job bussing tables somewhere at 15 years old.
There are certain jobs, at least in Texas, there are certain jobs that you can do when you're 15.
He could bus tables. He can work at a dadgum snow cone stand. Okay? But it's really starting to concern me. And he's wanting a car when he turns 16, which is coming up in September, the very first part of September. And everything is there's a caveat for everything. Well, like last night, he said, I just hate the fact that I was given most improved because that makes it sound like I'm terrible. And David said, could you imagine what would have happened if you had ever practiced? Other than practicing in that class period every day, could you imagine what would have happened or what you would have looked like or how your year would have turned out had you ever gone up to the club and to the tennis courts and gone to the park and played on the tennis courts, asked for the key to go into the tennis courts at school and ever practice, but you never lifted a racket. And his caveat to everything is, I will when I get a car. Now, if he wants Subway, he's not afraid to ask us to take him to Subway. If he wants Chick-fil-A, he's not afraid to ask us to take him to Chick-fil-A. But you're telling me I don't want to bother y'all when it comes to me going up and playing and practicing tennis. I mean, come on, give me a break. So that's the caveat for everything. That's why he doesn't work out. That's why he doesn't do all these things. And I just saw Emily say, I hire 15-year-olds at my shop, but there are time restrictions. Yeah. So maybe he can get a part-time. I'm not asking the kid to pull in 40 hours a week. But y'all are saying it is absolutely not too late to turn this tide.
And am I thinking correctly? Emily, she owns a Merle Norman store? Yeah. There's a Merle Norman here.
You talk about a bull in a china shop. That would be Rocco Radke. We never forced our children to work. They concentrated on schoolwork and sports. My dad always said, let them be kids. They have 40 years to work. My father-in-law had them help on the farm. And that's what we've done. That's what we've done.
They've always been involved in sports, a lot of times multiple sports. They've always done very good in their grades. So they have done those things, but we're just starting to get concerned as, Remy's going to be a senior. Rocco will be right behind her in a couple of years. And have we fully equipped them for
the real world,
harsh reality of what the real world is?
Angela Butler was saying in her statement, farmers in particular, of which there are a lot around here, love teenage help. But the problem is that these teenagers, and I'm so glad to know my Rocco isn't the only one, they want high pay, don't they? They want them some high pay.
They want high pay. They want lots of water breaks.
and they got to pull that phone out and snap themselves farming and rustling up stuff, or else nobody knows they did it if they don't snap it. And that's a real issue too. So I don't know. We're having a lot of problems with that. And it's not just him. And I'm talking like it's just him, but that's because I'm married to someone who has a very strong work ethic. So where is Rocco getting this from?
Sometimes that does make it makes it difficult for me, because I was the kid at, goodness, I don't know, like 6 years old with a lemonade stand. And then I think it was 11 or 12 years old. Not only did I have a lawn mowing service, but I had business cards, and I had eventually had other people that would help me with stuff. I mean, I've just always done that. And that was not really any prodding by my mom or dad at all.
I wrote extremely inappropriate things in really pretty handwriting on construction paper when my teacher in the 5th grade was out on maternity leave, and sold them for a nickel a piece and earned quite a bit. Then I learned that people could tape them on their desk if I were to bring Scotch tape. I raised it to 25 cents. And then I would write whatever inappropriate thing they told me to in really pretty handwriting, sell it for 25 a piece. I tape it to their desk. I was an entrepreneur even then. Then after that, I took about a 20 to 22 year break from just work, because I had exhausted myself then, and really picked it back up. I feel like my entrepreneurial spirit, I would say around, I don't know, David, what would last Monday or Tuesday? Picked it back up, and now I'm raring to go. So don't tell me what I can't do. So where are kids getting it from, y'all? We're the perfect picture of parenting. What is happening to them? Did we get it wrong? Did our parents get it wrong because they babied them so much?
We've done a lot of things right. I think that's one of
I
the
think
areas
we've done 2 or 3 things right. I wouldn't say a lot.
No, we've got great kids. But that's just one thing that the work ethic, and I guess kind of the reality of the world hasn't hit them. And maybe it's too with the jobs that we've had in the last 5, 6, 7 years. They're very different than any of their friends.
Yeah, that's true.
So it looks very different than
mom and dad don't leave in the mornings.
I see, when I was a kid, I think my mom left like every morning, like at 5:30, and then she'd get home at 5:30, and my dad would leave like at 7:00, and he'd get home at 4:00, and immediately he'd start cooking dinner, and so it'd be ready when she got home. And it was just, so maybe they haven't got to see it because what we do
doesn't look normal,
is different.
Right.
Which I think could be an advantage to them, because there are so many incredible things you can do in life now that aren't the standard 8 to 5, those type things. So I think there's a benefit to that too. But somebody else, L. Cryer, said that our philosophy, which may be wrong, is that if they don't work, we expect them to be super involved with school, sports, and church. If they don't, then they need a job. And our kids are involved in all those things.
They're involved in school, they're involved in sports, they're involved in church. But
so
I don't know that they're super involved.
But I like the thought, but I guess my question is, so if we have kind of adhered to that philosophy, how do we get the work ethic part, and how do we get you're not going to be able to negotiate with your boss where you're going to put the trash. You're going to put it in the bin that they tell you to put it in. You're going to do it at the time they tell you to do. I think it'd be better.
Okay, now, David, you just gone to meddling.
I think it'd be better if we did it actually at probably
Right.
8:45.
Don't even get me started on that with Rocco. He's always got a better plan, a better way. But listen, hey, I just wanted to tell you guys, because gosh knows, y'all look at us and think we're the picture of parenting, the perfect parenting, right? That reminds me of a time that this girl got up and sang one time, an artist. You might even know who she is. I'm not going to say who she is, but she got up and sang one time, and she said to the crowd, she said, I know when you look at me, you think that I'm beautiful and that I have it all together, but really I go through stuff just like all of you. And I remember sitting in the crowd going like this. I don't feel like anybody was thinking that. I don't think you should ever preface yourself. I know when y'all look at me, you see the picture of perfection up here. Okay. I don't think you should ever say that about yourself. So that is not at all what I'm saying. I'm saying we're messing this up every single day. Remy was actually interviewed and allowed a platform to start doing affiliate marketing like I do. The company that I do affiliate linking and affiliate marketing through hired Remy. She hasn't done, I think she's done 2 things in 8 weeks. I'm not kidding you. She just don't do it. Just don't do it. Okay. Hollister reached out and said we would love for her to wear our clothes, to link our clothes. She'll get a commission off of anything she sells. That was weeks ago. And she said, after they sent her the clothes, I forgot. She said, I forgot. But I wanted to end with this story. She came in last night after the tennis banquet, and her little boyfriend was over, and he is very entrepreneurial. He's going to business school. He's all about it. So when he found out that she could be doing affiliate marketing and she wasn't doing it, he was really put out with the whole thing. Like he was like,
he said, how would
they
you
were
forget?
sitting there. They were sitting there holding hands on the couch like this, and then he went like this. You know, that really kind of upsets me. He backed off. He's like, that really kind of upsets me. And she's like,
this is the guy that like 2 or 3 years ago just decided he wanted to start a car wrapping business. Mm-hmm. You know how some people do that instead of paint, or sometimes businesses do it like that. He just decided he was going to do it, so he learned and started that business. Then, I don't know if it was a class or how he got on, but he kind of started learning and hearing more about day trading. So for the last 2 years, he gets up like an hour before everybody else and does day trading before his whole day gets started. And he has all these little insights on like different funds that he follows, different investors that he follows. He's just, you know, and that's a natural...
We met his parents last night. They said he was like Rainman. I don't know if that's good or bad. I've never watched the movie. But here's Rainman sitting on our couch with our daughter, right? And she says, I just forget, y'all. I forget to link stuff. I forget to tell people what I'm wearing. And I feel really bad because they sent me all those clothes from Holocauster.
To which I said, I'm
glad
you haven't...
I'm going to need you to let that sit for a second.
I'd rather it not. I kind of want to move on past...
Holocauster. It's Hollister. She called it Holocauster, and when he said, "What did you just call it?" She said, "I'm just learning a lot about that at school right now, and I have it on my heart." I was like, "You're an idiot. You're lying. You learned about that years ago, and you don't have it on your heart."
No, they did study.
What are we doing? She said, "I'm sorry." She really did just mesh her words together, but that's no different than me. I call people by the. I mix the first letter of people's name. Like we have this couple that we're friends with. They go to our church. They're not friends of ours. They're friends of my parents. Claudia and Larry. But I call them Claudie and Laria all the time. Okay, I mix things up. So I just told her boyfriend, I was like, that's just what we do in this house.
Ain't it cute?
Isn't that adorable?
Not all of us do that.
Hey, have a wonderful day. Tomorrow we'll be back to talk to y'all a lot about our kids.
I do want to say that we were, talking about the kids. We're very proud. Remy is going to be a counselor for 6 weeks at Camp Olympia. It's the camp she's gone to since she's 7 years old. So she's actually going to be a counselor. She's asked for the 7-year-olds. She wants the little ones she can help.
Stop your mouth right now. Remy Radke asked for 7-year-olds.
Yeah, she wants to help them fix their hair. She wants to show them all the ropes because most kids, that's their first year.
That is a mistake.
She is really excited about it being young kids. And then two,
she is not appropriate for that.
She told them that she is willing to help coach tennis or soccer if they need her. So I thought that was pretty cool. So,
and Rocco got new sheets for his bed. So that's really what he's looking forward to doing this summer.
He's been doing some podcast editing. He's got some learning to do, but he's doing some podcast editing.
We're trying to raise a man. And that, I'm going to tell you what, is hard. We are trying to raise a man. And isn't that hard? One that will grow up and, help lead their family and be a breadwinner. It's just hard. So that's kind of what's on our mind right now. And we were glad we got to share that with you guys today on the Radke Show. So they are wonderful kids. We'll be back tomorrow to tell you great things about them. I'm just kidding. I don't want to talk about them at all tomorrow. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you on Wednesday for We're Here For You Wednesday, but we haven't done that in a while. But if you got a question, send it in. What do I care? All right. Love y'all. Bye.
See ya.